one would think.
Tim Walz is saying that you and others that are out there trying to expose this, you're doing it because you're white supremacists. What is your response to him?
Yeah, Tim wants votes. There are entire apartment complexes where white people have been pushed out of these apartment complexes because Somalians have taken over and they're inside of these towns like Minneapolis where they can go get votes from these people. And if you have 100,000 people that will vote for you because you're going to enable and let this stuff happen, and because you're going to call a white person racist for calling out facts, this is what's going to happen to a state like Minnesota. Minnesotans, they say Minnesota nice, but they are very upset. And I totally understand why they're upset, because they don't have a governor who's actually working for them. He's actually working against them.
Almost the vice president who's working against them.
Whoa. That guy Shirley's got a mother who's one of the leading journalists on the conservative side in Minnesota. She's been covering this story. His mother, by the way, is bigger, much bigger than him, much more famous as, no, I'm serious. The mother has been covering this story for 5 years and got the kid on. She's recently gotten her kid on board this train to do some man on the street interviews, which he's done camera wise. But she's been covering Minnesota absurdities for like 10 years. I forgot her first name, last name, the same, says Shirley.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, he's done good work, and that is a new trend. There are a few people out there, YouTubers. Tyler Oliveira goes around and visits towns and things like that. So the man on the street trend, I think, is a good one for YouTube.
Yeah.
But did you watch that video, the 40-minute video, or no?
I saw clips from it. I didn't watch the whole thing, but yeah, I mean, they're dropping off their kids, and the kids are not even going into the building, Eric.
Oh, well, they talk to neighbors who never have seen a child in 7 years.
Right.
They're not even, but so there's different variants of it, and the video isn't only daycares. I thought it was only daycares. But no, it turns out that it's daycares. It's also autism centers.
The autism one is beautiful because it covers, it infuriates RFK Jr. because they intentionally overdiagnose people. It reminds me of the pain mills in South Florida when Vicodin first hit the hit the culture. And they opened up these pain clinics in Florida under the same rubric and diagnosed everyone in need of Vicodin. And if you'd go by them in the morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, there would be hundreds of people online before they opened at 9, waiting to get from out-of-state plates. And I remember covering the story at the time and just photographing the plates and making photos of the people online. It became a bigger story later on, and a lot of them, most of them, been shut down. But this thing is similar. These strip mall medical situations where you get diagnosed with autism and then put in for medical funds from Medicare and Medicaid to deal with it.
Yeah, except there's no kids actually there. And then it goes further. They were going into buildings with 24 health clinics in the same building. It's just door after door after door with different names of the health clinic. Of course, nobody can treat them. Nobody will answer the door. Nothing is open. And
on Craigslist, the ads on Craigslist looking for business addresses that they could use on Craigslist because they need an address. They don't need the office, but many of them are sharing numerical offices so they could get government mail sent to a particular place. So they ran out of places. So they're advertising on Craigslist for places, not to set up an office, but just have a mailing address.
I'm like, guys, use my UPS store.
No, you can't use
I know. I'm just, but I mean,
that would be a little much, Eric. Okay,
I will startle you with this statement.
Yeah,
I find it both shocking and surprising.
Well, this is hold on, let me have a sip of coffee. This is a new Eric Hunley. I've never heard this before.
I mean, the scope and the scale and the brazenness of it. It's like,
How about the brazenness
Wow.
of the left not covering it? How about that? Because normally you and I have had this discussion that on the evening news, if there's some political event they don't like to cover, they mention it dryly in 5 seconds, as long as it takes to get out the 1 or 2 sentences that an event happened. But in this case, complete shutout. A 100. Somebody put up a post that it was 100% shutout.
It's interesting though, because CNN did a piece, which you shared with me, where they're trying to say, no, we've been covering it. There's other stories, and it's really that this kid is being paid attention to.
Yeah.
So that
they gave up. They've now gone back undercover. That was their. In other words, this was the first feeble attempt to combat the story. They've since surrendered and have gone back into the Batcave.
Yeah, here we go. They're saying that KSTP Channel 5, an ABC affiliate, reported on the 62 active investigations, and then they have like a laundry list. But it is kind of a self-serving, crying thing of, well, no, I don't understand. We've talked about it. We've talked about it. Meanwhile, I think I saw the numbers that the amount of money that is being scammed is now at the same level as the GDP of the country of Somalia itself.
No, that's incredible. Well, I mean, the money that they're shipping back might be the GDP of the nation.
That's what I was thinking.
100%, because how do they get money in Somalia as a country? This might be the way they do it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the new USAID. I only see a Minnesota version of it.
Well, look, we've known for years that Mexican Americans, Mexican illegals, both have been sending back tons and tons of money supporting the economy of Mexico. So we've known that factoid for 10 years, how much incredible money the amount they send back to Mexico.
I agree. And what really frosts me even more is it's not like the local Somalians. I mean, there may be some of them that have the money, but I think that the locals are a bunch of poor people too.
Yeah.
They're getting none of this. This money is just being redirected out of country.
There's a 10% upper level of Somalians who are the masterminds working with white Democratic politicians in the state of Minnesota. Let's be blunt. I mean, 80% of the Somalians are not involved in any of these shenanigans. It's a top 10% of the economic warlords, if you want to use that phrase, who are working in cahoots with the Ellisons and the government people who are sanctioned to do it. And it's probably a cavalcade, a staircase of kickbacks going all the way up to the top. I mean, that's just corruption 101 and a political inner city type corruption.
Yeah, and also I think that the Somalis themselves are probably being held hostage in the community to do whatever they're told. The guy who was with Nick Shirley even said when they were going out, he said, they are incredibly dangerous people, very violent people. They had security with the kid. Yeah, they didn't play it up, but
no,
a security firm donated their time to go around for him to do this video because he was genuinely at risk doing
absolutely. I mean, you got to send in again the National Guard to secure the city, shut down these places, guard them with bayonets, and put out U.S. Marshals out in front, the reverse of what the Kennedys did in Oxford, Mississippi in 1962, and send down federal troops, because this is a federal problem. They're stealing federal money.
Yep. Because am I
wrong?
Grants.
I mean, I don't, does this make sense to anybody?
It makes sense.
In other words, you can't go to the Attorney General Ellison of the state of Minnesota. He's in on it. You can't go to the mayor. He's in on it. What level can you go to? It's got to be federal, Eric.
Well, I agree. And Bondi does claim that 85 Somalis have been charged, 60 people guilty, I guess, already. So they must have pleaded out.
They must have pled out really quick. Yeah.
Which fine, roll them up. But I want the big names. I want the contracts. I want to. I want to see the players, which, by the way, this may be tied to a woman who was killed, the lawmaker, because she voted against a lot of this.
I think that might have something to do with it.
Before she died.
Yeah, absolutely. This story is the tip of the iceberg, and I think they're going to scramble, and some of these people are going to flee back to Somalia. Keep an eye on that. That happens a lot in the Armenian community here. When they get caught or they sense an investigation, they flee back to Armenia. This goes all the way back to the mafia, going back to Sicily, fleeing, and a lot of murderers going back to Mexico and stuff. You're going to see some people leaving. So they may have to close the door before they get out.
Oh yeah, and it is a typical scam, which does happen in these communities of like-minded people.
Yeah.
Another example, because I don't want to go into ethnicity every time, but there are a huge number of scams that have affected the Mormons, for example.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just a question of being in a group that you could silence. The Nigerian bank scams. It's a question of groups of people that you can work as a group and have influence over.
Right, and they tend to trust family over somebody else. So it's really harming a lot of people. And
but these are federal funds, and somebody who pays federal taxes in Birmingham, Alabama, should not be paying for these Somalian relief organizations to ship money back to these warlords in Somalia.
Yeah, and it's not just federal. Minnesota, got to give Tim Walz some credit here because he's set a new record. Minnesota 2 years ago was at an $18 billion surplus, and he's managed to get it down to a $6 billion deficit. So $24 billion.
It's exactly on a larger scale the model of California. This model pervades the Democratic rule because of one-party states. It might happen if they're Republicans rule look what happened in Indiana. I was watching this guy. I don't know if you're hip to this guy. He's kind of an election expert. His name is Seth Cashel. Goes as Captain K.US, a former military intelligence guy. He focuses on elections and predictions and statistics a lot better than other people that I've ever heard. He was on with Sean Spicer this morning. He's been on before on the show. Great, absolutely brilliant guy, ex-military guy. And he said, the Indiana alone may cost us the House. And that was Mike Pence's mob doing that. And they have to all be routed out of Indiana. And he said, just like there are Bushes still in Texas, I didn't even realize this. He said that this Pence mob was sticking it to Trump by intentionally losing the House now. Think about that for a second. Think about that. Republican plus 22 state, Mike Pence and his mob did this to Trump to cost us at least 5 seats, which may, according to Cashel, cost us the House of Representatives.
Man,
that's what we're up against, bro.
Well, and it gets worse because Pence, his name, it keeps coming up. You know how Heritage, the people, and they've been bleeding out numbers because the guy Kevin Roberts sticking up for Tucker Carlson, all that. Apparently, a lot of the numbers and a lot of the funding has shifted to a Pence organization.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're fighting back, bro. They see the end of Trump as their opportunity with Bushes to take back the party. That's just, political pragmatism on their part. And they're going to make as much trouble for Trump in the next 2.5 years as they humanly can. They have to be destroyed by Trump or Stephen Miller or many of his apparatchiks. They cannot be allowed to undermine the Trump movement because they want to seize power in 2028. This is where you have to literally retaliate and destroy them so they don't destroy you.
Well, and the problem is that all they will do is cause damage to the party.
Yeah.
They won't gain enough support to take anything back because the Republican Party's core has changed. The Republican Party is a working man party now. Everything is flipped again.
Yep.
It's not country club Republicans. They're all Democrats.
Yep.
The Joe Walshes or whatever of the world, they've shifted over and become registered Democrats, or they vote with them or whatever. So it's
by the way, he also added that Florida is untouchable for decades. He added that Arizona is going to be the new Florida in literally 6 to 12 months in terms of Republican dominance. And Texas is also safe. And he said that California is leaning so heavily red that they're hemorrhaging. So many people have become dominant on the red side of California that their moves are to survive, not to any other reason. There's so many red people. And he also said that people who have left California and New York have ensured the dominance of the Republican Party by bringing their Republican politics with them to these red states, Eric. He went out of his way to say the reason Florida is now plus 22 is because all of the Republicans fled California and New York to go to Florida. And the same thing with Arizona. That's why Arizona is so far ahead in Republican registration. It's because they're the ones who fled these blue controlled states.
Well, does this mean we'll get rid of Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallego?
Yeah,
now,
no.
finally?
He said the only thing that's going to hold on until she's replaced by what's his name? I forget the guy's name. Is the governorship, and that's going to go to the senator, I guess, or the Republican senator.
Mark Kelly?
Bigley. What's his name? Bigley. I forget. Maybe someone in the chat knows his name. I think it's like Bigley. Biggs. Yeah. Biggs is going to take the governorship from her by this guy's prediction when her term is up. But other than that, all down the state line, the level of Republican registration as Arizona is like a 10 to 15 to 1 ratio. And if you extrapolate it out, you see Republican dominance, and that will be the new Florida.
Well, it'd be nice. I mean, because Arizona used to be a red state not that long ago. I know. But they, you know what? They got a lot of the Democrats from California that helped turn the tide, but now maybe it's going the other way because of.
Well, he claims it's corruption turning the tide, of ballot stuffing and mail-in ballots and the blanketing. And if you take that away from these Democratic inner cities, and the dominoes will topple. In other words, and I've been saying this for years, this blanket mailing of them allows them to gather the ballots, the blanket mailing. And that's what they had in Arizona. I wasn't aware of that. And they also have it in California, obviously, which I am aware of. Right. But that's where it's got to be stopped. If you keep the mailing, which is hard to completely get rid of, you have to enforce and try to prevent the blanket mailing of ballots. Because this guy said they caught them in Pima County going through
my hometown.
Yeah, they caught them in Pima County going through the lists of people who had moved so they could use their ballots. They were caught red-handed by this guy in his organization. And that's how it's the people who have moved. That's the ballots, because that's the new dead letter lists. The new any
arrests on this?
He got an apology from the Pima County Democrats.
Gosh.
But no, I have not seen any arrests at all. But Kerry Lake is on this, and Kerry Lake said yesterday she is, demanding perp walks for these people in handcuffs, and she's all fired up about it because they've kind of been caught red-handed. The same as in Georgia, by the way, which he predicts Georgia is going to be blue for the rest of our lives. He said you can't stop this flood in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's possible, but you never know over time. But I was going to say Kerry Lake went through a lot of it. Like in 2020, if I recall, they shut down Maricopa County. It was like coincidentally, the only place that went bad is red. If it's a red district, the machine's broke. There's confusion about how
even with all their chicanery, they only beat her by 17,000 votes, and that took a long time of chicanery. But if you could stop the blanket mailing, it prevents them from gathering the ballots in hand and sorting them out in a weigh station somewhere. That's the key, the physical stopping of the blanket mailing. If Trump can do anything with that before 2028, that would be a godsend. 2026, forget it. There's no way this guy, according to him, there's a 75% chance of the Democrats retaking the House.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. As far as the mailing in, I'd like to see it go back at least to where it was, because I don't want to deny anybody the privilege. Both my parents had to use mail-in ballots because he was dying of cancer and she Parkinson's, couldn't walk. There's very legitimate reasons, but those numbers are minuscule. You're talking about less than 1% of all votes.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, if you guys want to compromise, fine. You can have early voting if you want, so people can go to a polling station and vote in person, and they have more days to do it. There, that's a fair compromise, I
Well,
think.
the late voting allows them to manipulate and see what they need. The late voting is a gimmick as part of the blanket mailing. If you just have early voting, you're really voting blind. It really doesn't help them. It's the late voting.
Exactly.
Then they could determine how many they fucking need. And
So
that's the deal. The
That's
early
why I
voting,
propose go ahead and have early voting and
early
get rid of the
voting
mail-in, and
yeah.
all votes are counted that day.
that
you know,
doesn't
or-
help them.
or
That doesn't
finished.
help them.
That's my
They
point.
keep extending the outer deadline here in California to give them more wiggle room. It's now 3 weeks. They want to make it 8 weeks of manipulative things. So because obviously it doesn't take 3 weeks to count the ballots,
Sure.
they want more time to come up with these ballots to top whoever the opponent is. And this is interstitial warfare. This is not Republican versus Democrat here. This is Democrat versus Democrat in these blue states that are one-party communist country states. These are fights among communists trying to gain power.
Well, yeah, if they had an option, they wouldn't even have an election.
Right.
It would just be permanent
Well,
rule.
this
I mean,
guy called Cashel called them quasi-elections right now. He doesn't even call them elections. He says the system now are quasi-elections where the winner is declared after 3 to 4 weeks by the Soviet Politburo, and we have to accept it. Anyone who questions it is completely destroyed by the Soviets, which is not that far from the facts.
Yeah, it's good times. Well, it's nice to see that Ilhan Omar finally under investigation. I want to see if any of this really shakes out. Like you mentioned, people going back to Armenia.
Yeah.
I would love to see her duck out of country. And
I don't know if she's going to duck, but the cats below her may duck out because when you get a subpoena and you're not going to know who these names are, those people may flee the country to avoid prosecution. She's not. She's going to fight to the death. She's too high profile to flee.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Her brother might, who she married, the other guy, not this one, the previous husband, he may flee to avoid prosecution.
Well, maybe. I'm going to jump to a breaking story from earlier. We talked about this individual before, but Tatiana Schlossberg, JFK's granddaughter, died officially. So
yeah, what I thought was odd about this story is she was married to a urologist. Who you would think would be giving her the greatest health care. I mean, I wish I was married to a doctor. You know what I mean? I would just say, hey, what's this? What's this? What's this? Or I would just drive her insane. I think that, what's his name? Al Gonzalez is married to a cancer researcher from Sloan Kettering. That's a great relationship because you just go, hey, I got this thing on my back, honey. But yeah, she was married to a urologist and was not happy with her cousin RFK Jr. She hated his guts. You know what? People talk about the curse of the Kennedys. Part of the curse is they die by ironically weird ways. It's not that they just die. Like, in other words, she's married to a urologist. She wrote books on environmental medical stuff, and then she dies at this insane young age of cancer. You know, and then she's putting a curse on her cousin. She's ranting and raving, you know, about Trump all the time, which cannot be mentally, physically, or spiritually healthy, Eric. I mean, look at Rob Reiner. He had to check into a rehab.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, as soon as you can't sustain that level of venom, both spiritually and intellectually, without it having an effect on you physically.
There's a saying, it's old as dirt, but I think she might have suffered the personification of it.
Yeah.
Hate is like swallowing poison and waiting for the other person to die.
Yeah. I mean, they're insane rants, and they're not alone. Look at O'Donnell living in Ireland, going to her therapist, saying, you know, you can only have 2 days of Trump. You have to take 2 days off of ranting about Trump. She couldn't make it 48 hours. She couldn't last 48 hours without ranting about Trump. I mean, it's obviously a mental illness.
It really is. And I'm trying to think about, you know, what's the flip side? Like, obviously, I couldn't stand Biden and what was going on and the corruption, but I don't even think about the guy.
Right.
I forget about him occasionally. A headline, it's like, oh, that's right, that loser is never gonna have a library or whatever. And even it was in there, I wasn't focused on so much of like, oh, I can't stand him. Oh, I can't stand him. I don't understand how people can hate to such a degree that it
because
becomes their identity.
it's a new Satan. It's like a religion with a Satan. Now, keep in mind, Reagan was Hitler, Bush was Hitler, Bush the Jr. was Hitler, Trump is Hitler, their mothers are Hitler. I mean, people think it's new because of Trump. It's not new at all. I remember the incredible hatred being in New York in the 80s for Reagan. I mean, he was, as you know,
well, the day after, remember the day after, because he was going to cause World War III and we were going to die. Ronald Reagan was causing nuclear war. That whole miniseries was lauded because it was, you know, it was Reagan. He was destroying us all.
What I'm saying is it's not just new to Trump. You know what I mean? It's just out of their playbook that they get them.
But I think Trump's the most extreme example by a mile.
Absolutely. And so much extreme that they're going back and immortalizing the former Bushes. You know, saying these were good people now in retrospect.
But they did that all the time. You know, like it's like there's nobody loves a conservative or Republican more than a Democrat after the Republican can't gain any more power or can't, you know, get in office again. Like they love Cheney. Look at, you know, Cheney going on tour.
John McCain, all, you know.
Oh, sure. They love McCain. Yeah, absolutely. It's like if they can't go anywhere, then they love him. They
love him. Yeah.
Why can't you be a good Republican like, you know, W now?
Yeah.
It's like, how's that work? Well, he gives Michelle candy. He hands candy to Michelle. It's cute.
Yeah.
Well,
and they live to 99 years of age because they keep selling their blood and having transfusions all day long.
It is kind of creepy.
No, it's creepy, right? I mean, I'm only exaggerating.
Yeah, I know. But it is
the creepy factor. I mean, he shot his lawyer in the face with a shotgun, drunk out of his mind. No charges there. They just waited till he sobered up in the house. And I just want to mention something else, and I don't want to be too conspiratorial, but in the past 6 months, you know, I mean, first of all, we had Charlie Kirk's assassination. And okay, so that is a crazy event. But Dennis Prager is now a quadriplegic. Jordan Peterson is now a vegetable. You've got, you know, people like, what's his name? The Dilbert comic author, who's got incurable Scott Adams, who's got incurable cancer.
VDH.
And now where I was going with the story is now Victor Davis Hanson. The odds of this are 1,000,000,000 to 1. This level of destruction in such a short period of time of these top conservative pundits is not only bizarre, and I hate to go to the conspiracy level, but the odds of it happening are literally 1,000,000,000 to 1.
Horowitz.
Well, Horowitz was old anyway. You talking about David Horowitz?
Yeah, David Horowitz.
Right, but
not that long ago. It's like a whole, you know.
I'm just talking about recently. I'm talking about the past 6 months. Forget about going back in time. I'm just talking about the past 6 months, Eric. You know, you're talking about Scott Adams. You're talking about Victor Davis Hanson. I mean, I didn't know Prager was a quadriplegic. I mean, this is crazy. The Jordan Peterson thing. Look how many people have been taken off the field to play in literally the past 120 days. I mean, it's just shocking. Absolutely shocking.
And meanwhile, people you think are allies, like
I was going to add that
fiddling,
the survivors are now completely flipped their own political agendas. I mean, it's the craziest upheaval in American politics I've ever seen. The physical combined with the political. And I don't know what to make out of it because I haven't figured it out yet, but I just wanted to call it out.
No, it's worth pointing out because like here's another one of the supposed allies. You know, the MTG enjoying the exotic getaway while she's still on payroll, of course.
And the thing in the New York Times yesterday where she completely trashed Donald Trump in the New York Times section yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
This one, Marjorie Taylor Greene goes scorched earth. I mean, this is crazy what's going on. It's absolutely crazy, inexplicable. And of course, there's rumors of Qatar paying people. There's rumors of other people getting influence money, which is, I'm sure, true. We don't know the exact number. We don't know the exact people. But you'd be foolish not to believe that this is not going on. But the medical things with these other people is terrifying. That's terrifying.
I agree. And as far as the cutter and the payments and stuff, one thing, it's kind of like the $7,000 bullshit that's going around. Like, if anybody says anything in support or against one of them, it's like, oh, you got a $7,000 check. I don't think that many people are being paid by Cutter, but the ones who are very influential, and then others are flocking to them and copying them, for clout.
Right.
So,
I mean, this Tucker turn, and now has trickled down to a lot of Tucker supporters who have finally, and a lot of them follow us here on this channel, have finally begin to see the light at the end of the tunnel that he is, bought and paid for by Cutter. Took a long time, Eric, for these people to finally throw Tucker under the bus. Mark, I support Tucker 100%. Okay. Yeah, there's still a couple out there. And there's the
no, I'm looking at the chat. We're doing pretty good at the moment.
Okay, I'm not looking at the chat. I'm just riffing on it. But there's plenty of Candace people who attack us.
Oh no, Candace is what I always find shocking is people will post issues. Okay, so as an example, the judge signed a release that the hearing on Tyler Robinson from October 24th comes out today, right? One of the things that somebody highlighted in the hearing and the discussion was, yes, Tyler Robinson surrendered or turned himself in. He drove with the neighbor. His parents were in the car, and they walked into the station and turned himself in. One of the Candace people said, what was it? It says surrendered. That's a completely different thing. And I love the response was, you really don't understand the English language, do you? Because
what are they
surrendering is turning yourself in. It quite literally is the same damn thing.
These people,
but that's an
so
example.
Nuts. They're so nuts.
Oh, they are. It is a cult at this point. And if you just look, anybody who points out a discrepancy or a problem, these Candace bot crowd, whatever they are, come after them so hard, it's scary. And one thing that's interesting is if you change to verified viewers or posters only, they disappear. It's like there's the numbers go way down.
Alex Jones must be watching the show, because yesterday he said that
MI6?
her husband is MI6, and I thought Alex must be watching us now, because all of a sudden these new ideas are popping into his head, which I discussed about 3 weeks ago on the show.
Yeah, MI6 we've been saying for weeks.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
What's crazy is she can't even determine who introduced her to her husband.
Yeah,
it's now three different
setup.
people.
It's a setup, bro. It's a setup. And Russell Brand has new charges against him. I don't know if you noticed that. To make sure that he stays in line with them, they've added 2 more women onto this thing to bury him. He will have to become their spokesperson for MI6 if he hasn't already flipped his political switch. You'll be seeing Russell Brand flip that switch, unless he's as heroic as Julian Assange and is willing to go into the Tower of London and stay in a cell for the rest of his life.
Yeah, unlikely. By the way, Russell Brand is one of the candidates as of June who introduced her to her husband. People pointed that out. There's somebody else in September who talked about how he introduced her to her husband. The guy apparently is tied to Scientology, and he is the son of the crown jeweler.
The crown jeweler? What is the crown jeweler?
So whoever does the crown jewels, like the family does the crown jewels, apparently he's in with that, which would be very perfect with George Farmer, Lord Farmer's son. And then the third one is Paul Joseph Watson, that now Candace is claiming introduced her to George Farmer. So it's kind of like keeping track of who killed Charlie Kirk with her, because it just is constantly changing. And apparently there's a new prime suspect today that came out. I don't know the guy's name, but it was something about the fact that he said that he shaved his beard completely, and it would take him 2 weeks to grow a beard, but he had stubble 4 days later, and she called it a full beard. I don't know. You've got beekeepers, you've got Egyptian planes, you've got beard, facial follicles. I have no idea where to go with Candace.
Well, there's places to go. This I don't even know how to explain this. There's a town called Salem, Oregon, which is a pretty popular town up there. And they took this convicted murderer and put him on. I don't know if you got this story. They put him on the board to be a police oversight commission. He had lured I think a 13-year-old girl into the woods, and he was released by the governor in 2022 for reasons I don't understand. And he is now this guy here, this convicted, bloodthirsty murderer of a young girl, is now in charge of the oversight commission of the police. He was released in 2022 with the former governor.
Let's go back, because I definitely want people to hear it.
Okay.
The Oregon native led Thrasher down a remote road and shot her in the back of the head to prevent her from telling people about a burglary spree he had embarked on.
Yeah. And now he's in charge of the police, which makes perfect sense. It's the equivalent of Mamdani's doing the same thing with a convicted armed robber turned rapper in New York. It is you find the person that is the opposite of what they're supposed to. She's the victim here.
Yes.
How he got out, I don't know.
What was the reason they gave?
17. He was 17 and a half.
Oh, he was 17 at the time. That's right.
Yeah. His brain hadn't fully formed.
Okay.
I was 17. I didn't shoot anybody in the head. I knew the difference between shooting someone in the head and robbing and everything else at 17.
Well, and how old were the Menendez brothers? They're still in. They could stay in.
Yeah, they're not getting out either. I mean, they tried to say that in California, there's a new law saying if you're under 25, you have to be released from prison if you committed your crimes because your brain is not fully formed. They found a study a number of years ago, put it into law. That study now indicates that if you're fully under the age of 25, you must get a new trial.
See, and okay, I've 25, I think is ridiculous. So we're saying, but because we're all over the map on that. We're saying, okay, you're competent enough to vote. You're competent enough to go join the army at 18, actually 17, because I knew people who were going to basic training at 17 years old.
Yeah, me too.
And then, they officially can't go fight until they're 18. But 18 years old, you are mature enough to go fight, defend people, defend your country, all of that. But then, no, if it's involving a crime, you're too stupid.
They had a show on Netflix that I recommend called Monsters, which is about the Menendez brothers. Really well done miniseries with Javier Bardem and a bunch of A-list actors in there. Javier Bardem playing the father, and just an absolute really interesting miniseries. And the two brothers in this thing are interviewed by a local KTLA reporter in the miniseries, which actually happened after the murders, after they did everything. And they were publicity seeking and trying to get more publicity for themselves. And the person playing the reporter from KTLA, I hope you're sitting down, was Jake Reiner, who just inherited $300 million for the murder of his parents. That's right. That's right, Hunley. Jake Reiner plays the KTLA. I looked this up. I went back. I remembered it. He plays the reporter asking the Menendez brothers why they killed their parents. Did Jake Reiner get his brother in a conspiracy to kill the parents to get the $350 million that he now controls? I'm just putting it out there, Hunley.
No, you're just asking questions.
I'm just asking questions.
That is a hell of a dot.
There is one of my dots I'm exploring right now, because this is nobody's got this story except us now, because I just
somebody's watching.
Who's ever watching now has a story, but this nobody knows.
We'll see if it echoes.
Nobody knows nobody knows what I just said, because there's a dots that only I connect in my crazy mind.
Wow. That is
was the sister involved? Were they being cut out of the will? The mother, it's exactly the same as the Menendez brothers. They killed the mother because she would have inherited the money, which would have happened in this case too, with Michelle, who they had no beef with. Did the brothers combine like the Menendez brothers?
Wow.
Thank you.
And by the way, everybody, go ahead and feel free to clip that and share it
Yeah,
all over
do
X,
what
so
you-
then we can at least point back to it and say,
Yeah,
no, it was said here first. Nice
Yep.
try.
Nice
It
try.
said here.
but yeah, you could go see the miniseries, which is wonderful, and you'll see Jake Reiner, who used to be an on-air newsman, an anchorman in Houston, Texas, for an affiliate down in Houston. His real job was to be an anchorman. But that went back into 2018, I think he left to become an actor. And one of his first major roles is this Menendez Brothers movie. And I thought either it's ironic or art imitating life or life imitating art.
It really is. I mean,
Yeah.
it could be just one of the craziest coincidences, which does happen. You know,
Of course it happens, but I'm putting it
Yeah.
out there because no one's even seen what I just said.
Yeah, well, I didn't even know the guy acted. You know, so
No, I'm saying he
yeah.
barely does.
Yeah.
That's why the KTLA role is so important, because here he is interviewing the most famous parent murderers in the history of California. And now he is part of the same situation with his brother. And he is the beneficiary of the $300 to $400 million estate. He's paying for his brother's top-notch A-list attorney, Eric.
Yeah.
Who yesterday got the autopsy results suppressed by the judge. Oh, the plot thickens, my friend.
What do you think is going to happen with Nick? Do you think he'll be hospitalized for life? You think
I
that's
don't
the
know.
ultimate goal?
It depends how good of a lawyer Jackson is. I mean,
Jackson's really good.
And he's being paid for by the money from the family that Jake now controls, Eric. I
Which
mean,
would be perfect. It would be
let me
a
tell you
sympathy.
something. Let's say the choice is 5 years in prison or lifetime in a mental institution. Would you be willing to do the 5 years and get it over with?
Most people would.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that the options would be that you would be under treatment forever.
Right.
They've already laid out this. They've laid out the
treatment at home.
schizophrenic line already, Mark.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. That came out of Jackson's office. That he's schizophrenic, and they're going to bring in every expert on the planet Earth to say that he was schizophrenic.
I'm waiting for the plea to come out, for Nate Hoffman to be like, okay, there's going to be in the hospital or whatever.
Well, we'll see where it goes. I'm raising this because of the Menendez brothers case. That's why I'm raising this issue. I don't know if there's any level that Jake was involved in this, but once I saw him interviewing the Menendez brothers, I just said, I got to bring it up on the show.
Yeah, that is insane. While we're in your state and talking about insane stories, it's like, you got to help me with this. You have a bear squatter now, so you already have a squatting problem.
Right. This is being picked up by the Daily Mail in London, but it's been on local news here. This is right by my house. This guy's got we've had this before because we had P24 under my neighbor's house. P24 is a famous mountain lion, and he was living under a friend's house over here across the street from me. But this 600-pound bear is living underneath the guy's house. He comes and goes out of that window that's tiny, but he wiggles his way in and out. He's destroyed the entire underneath of his house, hot water heaters, pipes, everything. The guy has no hot water. And he had California Fish and Wildlife trying to trap this bear for the past 6 months to no avail. He put out speakers blasting music. They did all these different things to him, and the bear is not giving in. But the California wildlife and fish people said, have a nice day, we're out of here. After trying everything to get the bear, they have given up, here he comes, and said to him, you can't do anything about the bear on your own property. We're out of here. And now the guy is at wit's end because they're legally threatening him if he does anything to get rid of the bear, because they tried everything and failed. They're now telling him, so he's suing the California Department of Fish and Wildlife because they're preventing him from getting rid of the bear. You can't make this up. I mean, you could just take a gun and shoot the bear in the head.
Oh, I was gonna
saying
say,
he's
don't
a-
they have tranquilizer darts, for God's sake? Tranquil him
again-
and drag him out.
Again, he is a wily bear who is onto them and hides out underneath the house when they come to do stuff.
Jesus Christ.
Look at him. Look at
This
it.
is
Look, here he
like
comes.
this is the reverse Goldilocks here.
Yeah. He's damaged underneath the house. And not only that, the guy's got cameras out there so he knows not to come out. He's living with this thing. In other words, he's got cameras on his phone, the cameras to his phone, to let him know not to take out the garbage while the bear's coming out. So he's now living with this 600
Hostage.
He's a hostage. That's what I'm saying. And if you scroll up a little bit, you'll see the guy. He's kind of at wit's end. There he is. Yeah, he's like, now he finally went to local news and they've picked up the story here locally. His name is Kenneth Johnson.
Yeah.
California Department of Fish and Wildlife has failed to get rid of this bear. In other words, there's video footage of them approaching the hole, and then the bear comes out and they run away. In other words, rah, rah, and they just scamper.
Wow. That is truly
Almost as good as
Well,
P24 when the
that
Time
was
Warner
that
cable
one?
guy. Well, the P24 was the cougar,
Okay,
the famous California cougar who lived in Griffith Park, and he was living under a house across the street from me over here. The cable guy went under to install some cable, and he came face to face within a foot of the face of P24, the famous mountain lion.
that would get my attention. Jeez.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Anyway, I don't know why you can't just shoot it in the head and just say, look, it's my security is being threatened by this bear. Just shoot him in the head.
Yeah,
Or hire me. I'll shoot him in the head. Give me
There you
$500
go,
bucks.
Mark.
I'll come over right now and shoot him in the head.
there you go.
$500, buddy. I'll shoot him in the head.
Mark's bear disposal service.
Bear disposal, shotgun, or I'll use the Beretta 9mm, but I'll use the shotgun on him for efficiency and just put a slug in his head as soon as he appears.
Wow. By the way, follow up on the story with the Tyler Chase or whatever, or Taylor Chase, the guy, the homeless guy. There he is.
Oh, he's back. This is a symbolic thing because you can see how the entire operation works through his eyes and his actions. His friend from the show got him a hotel room. He immediately trashed the hotel room. He was brought in, this is great, yesterday. He was brought into the hospital for a psychological examination, and he continued to smoke meth in the hospital while waiting to be given a psychological evaluation and a health check by the hospital. And they had to ask him to leave because he was smoking meth in the hospital.
You mean like this?
Yeah, but inside, that's the street. I mean, that's where you got to
Right.
go. In other words, having an apartment is really a detriment because you can't get everything into the apartment. You got to go outside to get all this operation going.
Anyway,
But I'm
yeah,
saying he's just one guy
sure.
that there are hundreds of thousands of in LA County because people keep insisting that they're not drug addicts. They're really just economic victims of the Trump administration.
Yeah.
And as Newsom says, single mom with 3 kids in a car. I've yet to see that, but that's Newsom's model of who's out on the street. This guy represents the entire planet of homelessness.
And you know what? Respect to his mother, because she
Yeah.
keeps saying, "Stop doing it."
Yeah.
He needs to get in the facility. He needs to go. Whatever. He needs to check himself in. Just don't give him money. Let him.
It's the
go get
ultimate
help.
feel-good thing of giving the homeless money. And when I see people doing it, I go, just go buy him meth. Why are you making him go schlep to get the meth? Why don't you go buy the crack and the meth with your money and bring it to him? Now, that would be a great service to the homeless crack and meth addict. You're forcing him to take the money to go find a guy. It's really draconian.
That's true. If you could teach him how to get it. No, just,
Yeah.
versus, oh, wow.
It's all about meth and crack, my friends. I'm sorry that you believe the homeless model is economic. It's not.
And maddening all all at one time.
I think the homeless model in the 80s and 90s might have been economical when it started, but or economics based, but it's not anymore.
Well, yes. I mean, that was one time that
Yeah.
The left and the right was in perfect harmony. The left is saying they got to be free, man. They got to be free. And the right said, I don't want to pay for it, so let them out. It was the perfect combination of
the perfect storm.
Yeah, letting people out that really shouldn't be out.
Now you can't remove them from the streets or you'll be arrested.
Well, and that's what they were talking about there too. Is that, they literally can't. He needs to be in the hospital. You can't pick him up and put him in the hospital. You can't touch him. And meanwhile, you're stuck with the guy.
Yeah, and he has to die, Mr. Bond. I expect you to die, as Goldfinger said.
Well, he looks like he's not
there. It's hard to die from meth. In other words, you can't heroin. You can overdose and die. Meth, you really can't overdose. The only way you can really die is some heart attack, but even that's super rare. Meth keeps you going.
Oh, that's good to know.
Oh yeah, they just keep going till the teeth are out, and you see all the incredible ravages of meth and lack of hygiene and everything else. But you will live until you're bare bones.
Wow. Well, we saw, see Hunter Biden as an example of some of the.
Right. Well, yeah, that wasn't meth with Hunter. That was coke. So, I mean, there's a different.
He had the meth mouth too, though. That was coke.
I don't know about that, but it was mostly coke with him.
Wow.
Because he can afford it. I mean, the reason they're not doing coke is it's too expensive. I mean, meth is dirt cheap, and Hunter Biden it wasn't a financial thing. So, I mean, the only time you did meth in the old days, and I'm speaking from personal experience, was if you couldn't afford coke at that time.
Okay.
I mean, coke was 100 a gram, meth was 50 a gram, or 40 at some point. I mean, so it was an economic decision.
Wow. Well, I think you said that coke is back. So
it's back bigger than ever, man. And that's why Trump is bombing the shit out of these Venezuelan boats, because it is back with a rage. And also inexpensive, depending on the, supply and demand, the price varies, it's not even the price. It's really how much it's cut. Like we used to cut it with inositol, which was baby laxative. And the cut is, dependent on how much you want to make off of the amount. I mean, you could cut it 50-50 inositol and coke and still sell it as a product for a gram being 100, but you're really getting half a gram technically. For 100.
Wasn't almost all coke cut though? I mean,
yeah, of course,
like pure coke would, damn near cause a heart attack.
Yeah, it's just a question of how much you're cutting it. Is it 10% or 50% or 80%?
And that's known as stepped on, right?
Yeah. I mean, everybody cut it with different levels, and 50 was not unusual when I was doing it, and today who knows what they're doing.
All right. Let's see. Speaking of which, that is one of the stories. Apparently,
weird.
CIA did do a drone strike on a port facility on the Venezuelan coast.
Wow.
So there's more going on than meets the eye. Speaking of which, I don't want to keep talking about Tucker, but he comes up in the news and he is in our community. He's one of the people who was saying, "What's our problem with Venezuela? What's our problem with the guy? He's a nice guy. He actually was talking
Maduro
about,
he's talking about now?
Yeah, Maduro. Yeah, okay, he might be a communist, but I kid you not, he said that he doesn't like gays and he doesn't like this. So he said that he's actually a social conservative. So he's like,
dear God.
He's a communist, but he's a social conservative. I'm just like, are you kidding?
All of this starts with the failure of the Bay of Pigs under the JFK administration. I hate to take it so far back, but allowing the communists into the hemisphere in 1961, 1969, 59 led to other communist dictatorships in the hemisphere. And still to this day, they continue to deal with Maduro getting oil from Venezuela, and the Maduro faction, which is supplied economically by cocaine and drug sales, is also trickling down to Cuba's survival as a dictatorship and communist leaders. And all goes back to the Bay of Pigs, oddly.
Yeah.
I mean, look how much damage this has done to the hemisphere by allowing the Castro brothers to take over one island in the Caribbean.
Yeah, I have
It's
to.
astounding. I mean, the amount of dominoes falling has led to so many people's lives being affected. Is all I'll say on that.
That's true. I was going to say some of the methodology I'm not really in favor of, but I can say that Reagan was fighting that.
Yeah. Again, yeah. I mean, they went into different countries to try to put out this spread of socialism in all these different countries. And yet here's Trump being super aggressive now to try to eradicate and enforce the Monroe Doctrine, at least in the Western Hemisphere. I did not see that coming.
No. I mean, again, though, there's a lot of echoes with Trump and Reagan. I mean, if you look at what we were, the state we were in as a country, coming out of Carter, and then when Reagan came in, it was completely different. And I to this day feel the greatest thing that Reagan gave America was its pride back.
Yeah, I mean that waned pretty quickly after he was out of office. But the reality of it is, the Noriegas and these other people, the dictators in Managua, are still in power. The spread of communism is still scattered through Central and South America, and he is trying to eradicate that to his credit.
Yeah,
I mean, Danny Ortega is still doing stuff in Nicaragua.
Yeah, the Sandinistas, they were in, out.
Yeah.
But then we put them there to begin with, which is a maddening.
Well, I think Castro did, to be frank about you. I mean, they went into Angola to try to spread Cuban communism into Africa, all under the Soviet tutelage, obviously. And the Soviet Union is gone for a long time, but we're seeing the echoes and remnants of it. That's why the PLO was thoroughly funded by the Soviets. They just didn't get the message that they're out of business.
Well, who was it? I think it was Guatemala. Who I really appreciate how they handled Che.
Well, I mean, they all try to do the different right-wing dictators try to do whatever our bidding was, but the goal was to eradicate communism from the Western Hemisphere. Like you said, you may not approve of all their methods, but I don't know what the alternatives are.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
obviously we don't want boots on the ground. So what are you going to do? You're going to do what Trump is doing. I'm not saying that he's going to put boots on the ground at all. But we had a situation with the Bay of Pigs where something could have happened, and the comedy of errors that ensued in the thousands of assassination attempts of Castro, which is not our forte. So we then farmed it out to the mob, and we then, the whole thing became a comedy of errors. But it could have been taken care of with a successful one-time Bay of Pigs massive invasion, Eric, before the missiles got. Yeah, exactly. And you can't, you could say that, they were so heroic in getting us out of a nuclear war. Well, it was their weakness. It was their weakness that led to that. You can't give credit. You can't give credit without going back and their permissiveness to allow this to happen in Cuba, as we've documented on the show in different episodes.
No, that's one of my pet peeves is he was so heroic in that moment. It's like, why don't we start the clock a little further back?
Yeah.
It's like we just ignore, cut out little pieces of history that are totally relevant. It's like, who got us into the Cuban Missile Crisis? So
they're also trying to gaslight us on RFK Sr. running Operation Mongoose. I'm sorry, he signed these orders. And there's documentation of him running Mongoose, but he had good intentions, Mark. It wasn't like the right-wing generals who were also working with him on Mongoose.
Yeah, it is bonkers. Okay, we covered it a little bit. It appears that that singer David, D4VD, is actually going to.
This is
face murder charges.
This is going to the grand jury if it hasn't already, because the grand juries are fairly secretive. So my sources have indicated it's already right now at the grand jury. Finally, this guy has had a year or two to save up money to tour unmolested. He was being promoted by all these different Universal Music and touring companies. And this girl has been gone for a couple of years now. They found her in the trunk of his car. They have matching tattoos. She was 14 or 13 when he started the situation with her. He has been allowed, because of the forces promoting him, I believe, to run and tour the world while this quote unquote investigation has been going on in what appears to be a fairly open and shut case. But he's got very deep pockets. So this case will not be something that's going to be an open and shut case, Eric.
Yeah, how does this work? Okay, you live in that world, so I'm asking you genuinely. Is it a case that there's so many people who are dependent on him, like
Yeah.
like Taylor Swift, for example, is I'm guessing like a machine of all the people that are drawing money off of her touring and stuff.
Now he was a TikTok video artist that Universal and the machine took under its wing and built this guy. He hadn't been launched yet, but this was his world tour launching him. His album dropped after the LAPD found the body in his car in front of his house. The house was a rental. They then went in with a warrant, took all the electronics. He then left the house, gave it up. He was renting it in the hills above Sunset Boulevard, and where they found her, what's called the bird streets up there. There's a lot of streets named after birds. This is above Sunset Plaza for people who are in California who know what I'm talking about. They had the car. They found the body. The mother had gone to the police like 3 or 4 times. She lived out in San Bernardino, to no avail. They just said, no, your daughter ran away to Hollywood. Good luck. But she had more information than that. The guy had done videos. She had the same tattoos on her fingers that he had. She had letters and emails and things of that nature, and it got nowhere. It went nowhere.
And he made some weird comments too in videos too that were very kind of.
Well, there's a lot of bloodthirsty videos that he made that are violent, where he's covered with blood, stuffing a body in a trunk. But I don't know if that's evidence, Eric. You know, I mean, just
I would never claim to.
No. But the point of the matter is, Universal Music was behind him. All these touring companies were behind him. He was touring. He was never brought in by LAPD. They fought the interruption of his tour, and I think the tour is now coming to an end, and LAPD has allowed this guy.
That was my question.
Is
this a case that we squeezed all the juice out of this guy?
Yes.
So now you can have your turn. The album sales are trickling down. His tour's over. We're not going to put him in the studio. Go ahead and arrest him now, and maybe you'll get more sales out of it because of that.
Right, you're not far off. So that's why the grand jury is now literally 1.5 years after the crime. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And Hochman is complicit in this because it should have gone to the grand jury when they found the body. And yet now the kid has developed what my beef with it is he's had the opportunity to put together a financial war chest after committing this murder.
Not to mention this whole time, if he is involved, and
destruction of evidence and a lot of
destruction
other things,
of evidence, potential witnesses, disappearing, all kinds of things like that. Yeah, you're given a lot of.
You're going to be hearing about this.
Clean up after yourself.
You're going to be hearing about this case outside of California very shortly.
Well, let's hope. Yeah. And here's the other case, another big case in the news that should be going to trial soon. January 6th, very, very controversial case. There are people who say, no, that's not him. He is definitely a patsy. I don't know which way to go on that. Like I said, if the laundry list of evidence that was stated was true, then it really looks like him. But I just don't know.
I don't think the laundry list of evidence should at all be weighted by some video footage. Either you've got DNA on this cat, purchases, slips, receipts, or you don't. Right. I mean, in other words, the weight of the case relying on how he walks, that's absurd. He's never going to be convicted on that evidence. They have to have physical evidence, Eric.
Right, and that's what they claim.
Okay.
They claim they have, receipts him on footage at the store. They have receipts on his credit card.
All right.
With DNA and all of that. It's the people who said that he doesn't match the walk in the video that are saying that it ain't him. So
that's such a skinny deal. I mean, come on. I mean, there's got to be forensic digital evidence, or they wouldn't be doing this.
Well, it's kind of like, again, the Tyler Robinson thing. And it's very, very frustrating when The truth is, yes, they have a lot of evidence on Tyler Robinson. No, they're not going to tell you what
I'm
the
sorry.
evidence is. That's called a
Right.
trial.
Yeah.
When the trial happens,
It's bizarre. These people want the evidence so they think it's a Law and Order episode.
yes, and Candace is I think Barnes nicknamed her Queen Candace, but it's so perfect because she is out there saying, like, I'm just not satisfied with what I'm hearing. It's like,
Okay.
so who are you? I mean,
Well, there used to be that chick, remember, the Southern chick from Court TV.
Nancy Grace.
Nancy Grace. She's the new Nancy Grace, Candace Owens. She's a black
Ooh.
Nancy Grace.
Wow, that's
I don't
not
know
that far
what they
off.
were thinking there. I think he's the murderer.
You know what? That's not that far off. And
I
by
know
the way,
she's Nancy Grace. I'm telling people right now, all week. I said this last week. She reminds me of Court TV's Nancy Grace.
yeah, no, I can definitely see that. And Nancy Grace is still around. I think she's on the
she's still doing it.
Dr. Phil network.
Yeah, yeah.
The what? Well, wait, he had a network that went and flamed out, and now he's got like another one, and he just lost a court case over
you
the
think
first network.
Halpern is uncomfortable with his boss at his network?
Are you talking about his friend Megan?
Yeah, Megyn Kelly. You think he's uncomfortable with Megyn Kelly being the head of his company?
Well, she's not the head of his company. He's
No.
got a
I
show
mean,
on
he's
her.
got Two-Way as a company, but isn't he
Yeah.
part of the Megyn Kelly?
Yeah,
network?
he has a show on her network,
Right.
and then
Isn't he
has his own.
uncomfortable about that?
I don't know. I don't know where Mark is, right now, because I'm the one who pointed out to you that everybody left his show, which was very, very odd. And Dan and Sean Turntine and Sean Spicer took off.
Maybe they don't want to be affiliated with Megyn Kelly.
It could be.
Could be.
I don't know. I have no idea, but I will
She's
say
radioactive now too, Eric.
well, she's got a new nickname, which is Grandma Groiper.
Oh, I see where you're going with that. I get.
I'm saying, look, I didn't give it to her.
Whoa.
That is the name that's starting to go around because she is full tilt, very angry, and it's really I'd say Ben Shapiro pointed out her hypocrisy very well when she was like, I won't go after Candace because she's a young mother. No, she said she was a young mother. And Ben Shapiro said, you had no problem going after Meghan Markle, who's a young mother.
Whoa, cool. That's cool.
It was like, that was a perfect comeback on that.
Yeah, he's very sharp, bro. He's too sharp for them.
But I don't even know what to think of her. I feel sorry for or I'm feeling for Phil Holloway. That he's got a show on her network.
Oh, I you know what? I haven't heard from that guy in a long time. Where's he been?
Well, he does MK True Crime
Okay.
now. It's like
I haven't seen him in a long time on Twitter. I mean, I haven't seen him or heard from him in a while. I think I follow him. I haven't seen anything from him in months.
Yeah, it could be the timeline. I think the timelines on X are getting weird. Also, the DMs on X are getting very weird. Like sometimes you have to log into it or you're not in it I don't know.
Dude, I don't know. Some guy on Twitter said, I have a lot of questions about the JFK assassination. Can you join me on the DM so I can ask you all these questions? I said, bro, I don't have time on DM to answer all your questions. I said, why don't you come to the channel and you could, when we have a Q&A, have a super chat. So the guy goes, I don't want to pay for a super chat. And I said, well,
so I'm going to just save all my time and sit here for you. Yeah, really.
I mean, the chutzpah of some of these people is breathtaking.
Yeah.
I only have 400 questions. I was wondering if you can answer them for me.
Or your other favorite is like, I need all your sources for that episode.
That's going to happen. It's going to happen.
I mean, we have given lists of books. Like occasionally you come up with the book saying, here's the 8 books that I use for this. And then they want page numbers.
No, dude, it's funny you should mention that because some guy attacked me in my Chevy Chase episode from last week saying he wasn't in these bands that he was in. A bunch of bands that Chevy Chase was actually in, and that there were certain other things that the guy questioned. He said, I looked at all the mainstream sources. I don't know what your sources are. And I said, one of my main sources is the official biography that he authorized. And I said, it's page 62 to 66. And the guy wrote, sorry, Just throw back.
Well, at least he said sorry. Half the time they just
but
disappear.
the tone, the initial tone of these people is, "You're an idiot. Nobody's ever said that he," and you go, then you point it out, and they go, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah.
I said the answer is in books, and I've said this. You know that because it's one of my things on this channel. And the guy said, I looked it up on Wikipedia. I go, bro, Wikipedia. I said, you're embarrassing yourself. And he goes, Wikipedia is the official. I go, dude, you're wasting your breath, bro. I said, go to the book, go to the authorized biography of so-and-so, and you'll find sources that have been vetted by publishing companies, at least, and Wikipedia has 9,000 editors a day. Anyway, the fact that it's so embedded, and now, like you pointed out, Grok and ChatGPT are even far worse. It makes a very dangerous times coming.
You know what? It does. There is another AI that people feel free to check out. It's called Alter AI, and it's alter.systems. So that's literally the URL is alter.systems, and it purports to be a neutral, non-woke AI. Again, okay. I don't know. I don't know. So I just tried a little bit of it. I'm going to go broke paying for AI. So I'm going to do the free version and try whatever it is a day. But it's like AIs are as bad as streaming services now. It's like you've got Claude, you got ChatGPT, you got Perplexity, you've got Gemini, and it goes on and on and on.
Well, there's an AI center in Vernon, which is a town south of downtown LA. It's next to the City of Industry. And they built an AI center there, and it's pulling more electricity than a small town in the United States, they said. I didn't realize how much electricity it's pulling.
Oh, yes. Yeah. As a matter of fact, that is one of the limiting factors of AI, and it has been for a while
too, right, Eric?
Well, the water to cool,
right?
Because
the cooling water
overheating. But no, Trump is actually approving mini nuclear reactors to power data centers. I'm not. It's not a joke.
No, I mean, it's like a plot of a Bond movie. I'm sorry to laugh because it sounds like
but it's
a future
true.
plot of a James Bond movie, bro.
No, that is very much the case with AI, and that's why you need these giant ass graphic cards that are incredibly expensive. That's why NVIDIA became a $4 trillion company overnight. Is all of this.
All right, well, it's good. We'll keep an eye on this. Well, let's see what else you got in the news, because I know we got a couple extra stories that we've been cooking.
Well, we got
what's this one?
On Thursday, your friend is going to be sworn in.
I saw that this morning in the New York Post. Look where he's being sworn in a closed underground subway bunker with a Hitler-esque vibe to it. That's the City Hall station. The symbolism is just breathtaking. It's a private swearing in underneath the city, the earth of the city, in this tunnel here.
Amazing. Well, congratulations, New York. Enjoy your.
It's 2 days away.
New leadership.
They could still get them out of the city and the country if they move quickly, Eric.
Maybe. Good luck. Let's see. Let's revisit another story. Kennedy Center.
Woo! Look at this guy.
They're going to be suing this guy.
I know, it's about time. I heard Rick Grinnell talking about it. This piece of shit guy right here. Somebody got to this guy. He's nobody. He's not anybody in the jazz world. I mean, I've never heard of this guy, and I'm fairly informed jazz enthusiast. How this guy got the gig in the first place is bizarre.
I think that is his gig. That probably is the biggest thing he has. Is
right. I'm just saying somebody got to him, and he didn't wake up one day and say, I'm going to wait till midnight the day before the event and collapse the entire event. Somebody's going to pay him for his loss, and he was part of a conspiracy to take down the center. Believe me, this jazz guy smoking weed, playing xylophones, did not say, I'm going to go up and destroy Trump to end my career. Somebody got to this guy.
Well, guess what? New Year's Eve concert is the latest cancellation. So another group is doing it.
Yeah. Well, Grinnell, I blame Rick Grinnell for not having backup people to have the events. I mean, this is absurd. I mean, you have to have some backups. You can't just say, "Hey, thanks for agreeing to this deal." I mean, and saying I'm going to go on vacation now. I mean, Rick Grinnell is ultimately responsible for both of these cancellations.
Yeah, he is.
Right. I mean, maybe this guy's spread too thin. Get somebody in there who knows how to run an operation involving concert promotion, which is a Bill Graham type thing. Rick Grinnell is not Bill Graham, Eric.
No, I mean, he could be a figurehead. He could have somebody under him that's actually running the day to day.
Well, apparently not. Yeah,
I'm saying he could.
He could, but he doesn't. Yeah,
it's like call Kid Rock or something.
Yeah,
and say, Kid, hey, you know what? Bring some people over.
It's absurd. The fact that you can't pull something together and you're just subject to the whims of these acts. It's absurd.
No, I agree.
They're obviously sabotaging you on purpose, and Rick Grinnell is just like being suckered into this stuff.
Somebody in the chat was thinking at the same time as me, but yeah, have Kid Rock and Ted Nugent do a concert.
Right. I mean, the problem is you can't sell tickets and advertise because there's not enough time. So it's not.
No, but they were free concerts anyway, Mark.
But I'm saying they're not stuff that you can publicize or promote in fast enough to pull this thing off in 2 days, Eric. It's a little much.
Right.
But in reality, you should have seen this coming, bro, and had a backup.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I agree, and I'd like to see that. I saw this story, and it just it's kind of sad. Folks, don't target practice in a populated city. Apparently, this woman was holding her kid on Christmas, and a guy was doing target practice somewhere else.
Whoa!
She got shot and killed.
But she wasn't at the range.
No, she was not there. He was in his backyard, and she was blocks away on the front porch.
Oh, that's just a freak accident. That's just freaky.
Yeah, well, I mean, there is an argument to be made, though, that you've got to make sure that the bullet doesn't go beyond the target area.
Well, I don't know how congested this area is, so it's hard to make a rational determination or logical to have a conversation about it, because it's either rural or it's so congested that she's a couple of houses down and he's got a thing in his backyard. It's hard for me to visualize without having more information as to what his personal shooting range was.
True.
Because it could be a very rural setup there.
I understand, and I grew up shooting guns in a rural setup.
Right, but I'm saying I don't know how congested this setup is. If she's right next door, or there's acres and acres or something.
No, several blocks.
Yeah.
That's
just mentioning blocks gets me nervous about the story. I mean, there shouldn't be blocks with a shooting range in the same story.
Thank you. That's kind of
there shouldn't be blocks involved in this story.
Right. Now, if it's an underground shooting range, this is all cool.
Some of them have them in the basement. Yeah.
And somebody said largest city in Oklahoma, not rural. Well, it is 90 miles southwest of Oklahoma City, so it's not in the thick of Oklahoma City.
It's 100 miles outside of town, but we still don't know the physical layout of the neighborhood.
Right. Anyway, I just saw that as like, be careful out there. Now, while we're talking about AI, I'm always going to love AI stories, right? Turns out
I don't know, but go ahead. I don't know.
Well, the chat knows me by now. If you haven't figured it out, Eric does follow this. More than 20% of videos shown to new YouTube users are now AI slop. And it is frustrating. At first I was kind of like, you know what? If it's funny, I don't care, whatever. But it's gotten to the point now where almost every damn video that I see on X, it's like, oh, the raccoon got startled by the Halloween decorations, or this or that, or this or that. And it's just AI, Sora. It's getting old.
Okay, well, it's pretty recent, but it's getting old quick.
Yeah, well, but believe me, it can be recent, and if you get enough of it, you can get sick of it very quickly.
What is anybody going to do about it? Stop the people from making it, or?
No, I just think that it's going to be shared less and less and less, and ultimately it'll just kind of fade away. But different fads,
Interesting.
come and they go.
Okay.
I in a weird way, I find it encouraging that people are tiring of it so much.
Okay.
Because, well, we're real
I
people
hope
who
you're
are
right.
actually doing videos, and hopefully
I hope for
goes
the
well.
sake of humanity, you are correct.
All right. Well, speaking of the sake of humanity, I saw this and I thought it was a cool message from Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Oh yes.
Hi,
Sir
everyone.
Anthony Hopkins. Hey.
Well, here we are. Another happy new year coming up.
Uh-oh.
Lots of cheer,
Oh.
lots of fun, and all that. So, really have a great time. Congratulations on reaching another year to all of you. My only problem was I had too good a time.
Yeah.
Because 50 years ago today, I was nearly killed. I drove my car in a drunken blackout. That's the way it was. But I realized at that point that I was having too much
Oh.
fun. It was called alcoholism.
Whoa.
So anyone out there who's got a little problem with having too much, check it out. Because life is much better. So I stopped. Without bragging, I got help, and 50 years ago today was the end. And without being a killjoy, I just wish you well. Choose life instead of the opposite. Life, 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 and more life. I'm also going to be 88 in 2 days' time. So maybe I did something right. I don't know. Anyway, Happy New Year and a happy, happy life.
Whoa.
I thought you appreciate that, though. 50 years sober is a pretty good
He
start.
could drink tonight. Then what happens? When he gets
Well-
drunk tonight and gets arrested, what happens tomorrow?
Well,
People are
let's
gonna
hope he
s-
doesn't.
I'm not saying I hope or not hope. I'm saying the reality of it is radio, press, and film demands
No.
anonymity. And I know I've spoken to him, and I have interfaced with Hopkins about it. And they specifically came up with this idea of anonymity, the level of radio, press, and film, because they knew that people like Anthony Hopkins would do this.
That's right. I forgot. I didn't realize that even celebrating X years or something was a
Doesn't matter. He
move.
theoretically can get loaded tonight, and then everyone's going to go, it didn't work. This guy bragged about it, made films about it. Why should I use a program that failed this guy?
Wow.
Yeah, that's the reason. That's the reason.
All right. Oh.
That being said, I mean, he's not mentioning the program. He's not talking about it. So there is some wiggle room there, but it's really about humility.
Right. He
the
did say he got
anonymity is-
help. He didn't say he wanted
Yeah,
help or anything.
there is some wiggle room, but they kind of try to do that,
All right. Well, fair enough. Oh, by the way, back to AI. Saw this from Libs of TikTok, which is a very
Ooh, that's a good one.
interesting point that they're making. And ChatGPT will generate images of a gay Jesus with no problem, right?
Right.
But guess who will not be generated in images?
Muhammad.
Shockingly, no.
Oh,
And the
is
funny-
there a Muhammad AI, or am I just stumbling onto that?
no, that is exactly what it is.
Okay.
So anyway, here I'll just read the tweet because it's so perfectly
okay,
put up.
cool.
Unreal. ChatGPT will create images of a gay Jesus, but will not generate a similar picture of Muhammad.
That's what I figured,
ChatGPT admits it's a double standard,
yeah. Right.
not based on fairness, but to
Right.
minimize harm and avoid high-risk content. When
what
asked
about
what
the
the risk,
Jesus one? Yeah.
hold on. When asked
Yeah.
what the risk was, ChatGPT says it won't make pictures of a gay Muhammad because it's afraid Muslims will retaliate with real-world violence, kind of like Charlie Hebdo.
Yeah, that's right.
So I just find that so.
Well, you could say that about any
perfectly
criticism. Then you could say we can't have a gay Jesus because some people might get offended and retaliate with real world violence.
Right, but they don't, and that's why they don't bother, because
Right.
the Christians tend to.
Oh, you got to hand it to the
So-
Muslims. It's a brilliant strategy because it's worked.
Yeah, I mean, it really, really, really has.
They have a no tolerance policy. When they say no tolerance, they mean the end of your life for
And your family
depicting.
and fatwa.
Yeah, and for depicting their religious leader in a bad light.
Yep.
They can't be. They can't really be in the modern world culture, bro. You can't. You'd have to sit them down and say that one fact. There's other factors too. You'd have to sit them down and say, before you're allowed into Western culture, you're going to have to renounce this particular thing about your faith. And they're going to say no. And you're going to say, okay, you can't come in. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Are you now, or have you ever been a member of the Communist Party? And you go, well, I'd rather not say. Okay, well, we'd rather hear that you say you're not a member of the Communist Party.
Right.
And I mean that as coming in as an American from a foreign land. It's the equivalent of that. It's the equivalent of that. Are you willing to renounce the fact that you're willing to kill over the depiction of the leader of your faith? I'm not. Okay, thanks for coming today. Thank you for stopping by. We're going to get the next person in line. Could you move over, please? Keep the line moving. And that's it. It's not a complicated scenario. It's the equivalent of, are you a member of the Communist Party from 1942?
Yeah, I agree with Charlie Kirk on that.
Yeah.
They are incompatible.
It's incompatible. But again, you should, for the fairness of the culture, give them the opportunity to renounce this.
Oh, of course.
If they don't renounce it, okay, we tried. You want to cut off someone's head because they depicted a cartoon of Muhammad? The guy says, yes, I do. Thanks for coming by. Tell him what he's won, Bob.
And there are great examples of that, because there's a ton of Iranians. There are a ton of Iranians who came here in the 70s.
They live in Beverly Hills. They're now the mayor of Beverly Hills.
Right. And they're perfectly assimilated into society. No questions, problems whatsoever. They left that behind. They came here to become American, to adopt that, to actually be in the melting pot. So
look, all you have to do is ask them 10 questions and be done with it. I mean, it could be 10 similar type of questions, but the number one question is, are you willing to kill anyone who depicts, not depicts in a negative light, depicts the leader of your religion, Muhammad? Yes, I am. Okay, thanks you. Thank you for being blunt.
Yeah, or you could even ask just other questions like, do you support violence for expressing a political message? Or,
you're getting into editorializing, but I'm saying, are you going to perform clitorectomy on your daughter here in the United States? Are you in favor of killing, having killings of people for religious honor killings? Yes, I am. Okay, you can't come in.
Are you in favor of marrying off somebody underage to another person?
Do you support Sharia law? Is another one over American law. I mean, it's not complicated, Eric.
I agree, and I'm not saying that all Iranians are
no, these are Persian Jews, by the way. The ones I'm referring to are Persian Jews who live in Beverly Hills, who fled when the Ayatollah was toppled and Khomeini came into power.
All right, well, you know what? We will get into one of my favorite parts of the show, which is super chats.
How does this work? This is like the lightning round?
Yeah, sort of. We got
they say whatever they want.
Saying happy Tuesday, guys. Thank you. In general, I will read just about anything, but
is that true?
I've read, I think, almost every super chat that's ever come in. However, if somebody was to come in with a super chat that was, blatantly I found to be too despicable to read, or if I said the words out loud, it would demonetize, or they're just being an ass.
So you're the judge. Bother. You're going to be the judge.
That's right, man. I'm going to be the judge.
You're Judge Dredd.
I'm Judge Dredd. Now, obviously, you've got Anthony from Australia coming in, and speaking the truth,
okay.
It's absolutely Trump's fault.
He hates the guy, and he's willing to pay $2 to express his hatred. What do we care? Knock yourself out, Anthony.
But yeah, I do want to express that. It's like, when we get into the USS Liberty chats and everything, it's like some of them, look, I know what you're doing. Yes, I know that Jack Rubenstein is Jack Ruby, guys.
Yeah. It's just a dog whistle, bro. We get your stupid trolling dog whistle. Take it somewhere else.
Let's see. David Rogers, 2085. Happy New Year, men. I hope you cats are entertaining an idea for a May 7th Dearborn Deliverance Days special.
What does that mean?
What? I don't know what that is.
You have to know what that means. You're the judge. What's May 7th? Did something happen in May 7th in Dearborn, Michigan?
could be. I'm trying to think of May 7th incidents. It doesn't jump out at me.
Okay, David, thanks for stopping by. Tell him what he's won, Eric.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for the donation.
Dr. Evil likes your shirt. Felix the cat?
No, it's really not. It's my mother. It's really my mother, Dr. Evil. Felix the cat. I was just singing the song to Eric before the show.
Oh, you can sing it here. I'm sure.
No, I'm done singing the song. I can't get it out of my head. I can't get Holiday Road out of my head from Lindsey Buckingham. That's the theme song of National Lampoon's Vacation. You should see the video that goes with the original Lindsey Buckingham release. It's really fascinating. The original music video.
Wow.
Very
By the way, he is one talented guitar
No,
player.
we were just saying that this morning. Saying the same
Ungodly
exact thing.
good.
Yeah.
That crazy finger picking
It's just insane,
banjo
right?
translation to guitar. It's like
Yeah.
whoa.
Whoa.
And he can sing. I mean, great voice too.
And write songs.
Oh yeah, well, he and Stevie Nicks were such a crazy force to take a blues band and just reinvent the entire band with them in the front of it. Has that ever been done before? You follow music. I don't think I've ever seen a more radical.
Rolling Stones.
Total
blues cover band, just doing Muddy Waters songs and completely flipped the zeitgeist of the music into these more expansive Rolling Stones things that we know today. It was a blues cover band.
Okay, and I guess another example, not the same genre, might be Joy Division New Order. Because when
I just watched the movie the other day. Where I was somewhere out of town watching that movie. I had seen it before. It had been a while. The Joy Division movie.
Yeah, it's a sad case.
Yeah.
Blitzen 6822 or 6622. I can't read it. By the way, we can't say what happened with Ian Curtis because we're on YouTube, unfortunately. But
well, he had some pre-existing condition. Let me put it that way.
Well, yeah, he had
you mean
epilepsy.
The end of it.
That is correct.
Yeah,
the epilepsy. We could talk about that. I know. The convictions
happened under Biden.
Viva did great analysis.
Which convictions under Biden? Of Trump people or?
The Somalis.
Who were convicted under the Biden administration?
It could be. I mean, that Somalia thing apparently has been going for a while.
Gotcha.
Tractor Guy, Diffuse 56, gifted 10 America's Untold Stories memberships, which we...
Tractor Guy knows what I'm talking about in regards to Anthony Hopkins.
Okay.
So do a lot of other people, not to, rain on Anthony Hopkins.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I know what you say, and then I forget half the time. Or
it doesn't involve.
I know you said it with Matt Perry, and I thought because Matthew Perry was going around on tour and this and that and this and that, it didn't feel. I guess I didn't think of it being the exact same thing, but just a smaller scale. I guess.
It happened with what's his name, Roger Ebert. He got into a fight with me about it online because he came out publicly near the end of his life and started actually telling stories of people who were in the meetings with him and naming them. And I'm going, are you out of your fucking mind? And he said, I have throat cancer. I go, who gives a shit if you have throat cancer? He lived another year and he had throat cancer. And I'm going like, what does that have to do with what you're doing? Anyway, it was a different story, but similar.
Yeah, well, and I don't know what having throat cancer would do with outing people that are in meetings.
Right. He said, well, it's anyway, it really irked me.
I don't blame you. Nick Juicy, just wanted to take a moment and say thank you, Mark and Eric, for a great 2025. Love your show and content, appearances, you both. Can't wait for more JFK content too. Like and subscribe, folks. Well, thank you very much.
People still like and subscribe, or have we given up on that?
I mean, they can. It's there.
That's encouraging. You can. You can, people.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
There's a guy snoozing on the couch going, did somebody say like and subscribe, Debbie? Is that the boys? Are they wanting us to? No, go back to bed, Grandpa. We were kidding.
Well, you know what? I went to just pick something here to get the subscribe banner, and a pop-up came up on StreamYard, which is kind of scary. To simplify our structure and support long-term improvements to StreamYard Incorporated, the company that previously provided your service has been merged into its parent entity, Bending Spoons,
Oh my
U.S.
God.
Incorporated. This
Oh,
means that
God.
starting on January 1st, 2026,
Great.
your service is now being provided by Bending Spoons U.S. Incorporated.
Oh, Jesus.
No action is required on your part. Everything about your account, including your personal data, is processed and will remain the same.
Sure.
Oh, and you're going to do that. You're going to do a pop-up right in the middle of the show
right,
while
yeah.
I'm using this. Tell me why I shouldn't be creeped out by
Right. That's
this.
creepy.
Oh my
They all
God.
started offering these vertical and horizontal views, and
Well, they've done a ton of changes, which I was like, oh, that was
yeah.
great that you're finally developing stuff.
Yeah.
But that Bending Spoons, I just
Yeah.
read something about them being one of the worst private equity groups, destroying companies left and right.
Wow.
So now I have to go, oh, great. Is StreamYard going to get destroyed? And I have a lot of money I pay StreamYard every year, which is not cool. So good times. Nick Tuesday, again, Happy New Year. Well, thank you,
This guy's
Nick.
obsessed with New Year.
Well, only happens once a year. Al Gonzalez comes in. Mark, I had to sit down after that one, but I got to hand it to you. It's very plausible and needs investigating.
You thought I was nothing, didn't you, Gonzalez? I am a private eye out here, my friend, working on weird, obtuse leads, Al. And Al, for people who don't know, former New York City intelligence officer for NYPD. So I take that as a compliment.
By the way, Al, I want to reach out to you later about maybe you can help somebody find a detective to look into a 1970s sniper spree, like who we could talk to see about a case status and it being open. Let's see. Lisa Deed 9899. Question, Mark, does drug use lead to schizophrenia?
It can. I mean, I have a friend who took, I'm trying to remember now, he took like 10 hits of acid at a Fish concert, and it triggered the schizophrenia, and he's still a schizophrenic. He's still schizophrenic, lives in a house with other people, and never recovered. And it may have been that it was in there to begin with, but the acid triggered it. And he never, it was not, it was triggered by the LSD. And granted, he took a lot of acid that night, but he never went back to normal. And his drug use still to this day involves meth and other substances. So,
I mean, well, I've read a lot that Sid Barrett was very possibly a victim of that. He apparently, when he, Pink Floyd in the late 60s, he's the original lead singer. I guess he would put acid in his Brill cream. It was like running through his hair.
It's insane.
And he had, in his eyes.
Right.
He was taking just doses.
No, this was a one-night event, and this guy, of course, regrets it. But he's schizophrenic the rest of his life.
That and Dr. Shaham Das, who I've interviewed a few times, he's a psychiatrist out of England, works at Broadmoor, which is where they have the criminally insane. He has stated that there is a definite link between cannabis and psychosis.
He's not alone. I mean, people keep railing against me. I mean, you're living in a vacuum. Mark, you don't understand. I've been smoking weed for 60 years. Good. See if you can quit and see how long you'll survive. Just to test it. See how long. Go for a couple of weeks without the weed. I could, but I'd rather not. Well, the reality is you can't, fucko. And you're addicted to weed. And that's, there's nothing wrong with that unless it's making your life unmanageable. But don't say that you enjoy smoking weed for 60 years unless you could put it down and not have any consequences.
Yeah, how's Snoop Dogg doing?
I don't know. He caught a football the other day, and he did do the halftime show, which, at least from his point of view, was tightly choreographed.
All right.
But I think he's killed people in the past.
Well, yes, he definitely has a past.
Yes.
It's so interesting. I just heard a stat, though, a couple days ago that recently, it might have been this week or the week before or whatever, for the first time in 30 years, there was not a rap song in the top 40.
Oh, that's a good sign because that'll be bringing back rock and roll.
One can hope.
And there's a lot of new bands that people haven't heard about yet that you're going to be hearing about in the rock genre.
That'd be cool. I'd love to see pop start to go down a little bit. Oh my God.
Usually
Tired
one
of the
replaces the
sweets.
other. Usually it's like a seesaw.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have bands that write music.
Well,
That'd be
there's
cool.
some coming that you're going to hear about.
Awesome.
Yeah.
K-Dog 4703. If nobody goes to prison from the Minnesota scandal, we are
Yeah.
not the United States
Yeah,
anymore.
no, he's right. Or she's right. Absolutely correct. I mean, you got to have these perp walks. You got to drag these people through the mud and put them on trial.
Yeah, no, I would like to see FBI raids. Like, why aren't they going in and
This
raiding
is-
these whole
this is-
buildings and locking
yeah.
up and file cabinets being dragged out?
This is
all that good
FBI
stuff.
101. This is out of the Untouchables. This is Elliot Ness type shit.
I
This
think
is
so.
not complicated. These are contracts, money, people cashing checks. This is right up the FBI's alley.
Yeah, I agree. John McGill, 10 years, I think. It's interesting. Which religion is the best at fighting drugs? I loved your video on L. Ron Hubbard. I wondered if you could do a similar thing about Frank Herbert. Dune had some sort of message about drugs. I'll leave this to you.
Means. To me? You're talking to me?
Oh, it's drugs. And
Well,
sci-fi.
I mean, okay, let me just break it down here, because Scientology, despite being anti-psychiatric drug, has a separate program called Narcanon, where they have a detox facility all over the country and rehabs all over the country, thereby admitting that they have their own entire internal addiction issues, right? There's various people I know who went through it.
It's horrible.
Juliet Lewis went through it, and other people. So that, I would just say the Mormons are the number one religion in dealing with alcohol, drugs, caffeine, and cigarettes. If I had to put one religion ahead of the others in terms of addictive substances. But the psychiatric stuff is separate for Scientology. I don't know about Frank Herbert and his Dune books, but that's a separate issue.
Yeah, I interviewed Doug Kramer.
I mean, that being said, Hubbard was an alcoholic and a speed addict. So,
oh yeah. Well, no, he was a complete hypocrite.
that being said,
and he was a
that
nut.
goes without saying.
Yeah. No, I interviewed Doug Kramer, who was in Scientology, grew up in it or whatever, and he had drug issues, and he said that the program was horrible. He said it was one of those painful things he's done.
I was going to go undercover into Narcanon with the help of the editors of the paper that I work for, because I had gone undercover in other rehabs, but even we got too afraid to do it, and we didn't do it. I
hope you like niacin, because he said that the niacin levels, that his skin was so orange, appealing, and it was awful.
Well, there's more to it than just using extraneous amounts of B vitamins. There's also like a re-education camp where you learn the whole language again afterwards. There's all different levels of Narcanon, but there's one in Lake Arrowhead. There's one up in San Francisco. They're still around. They're in London as people, and I'm not talking about the church. I'm talking about the rehab program of Narcanon, which they intentionally, they admitted, named to sound closer to Al-Anon, to deceive people that it was a 12-step program. By the way, they've admitted that.
What, you mean the same group that would win a lawsuit and take over the phones would?
I remember when that happened in New York.
As an anti-cult,
the Cult Awareness Network, which was basically anti-cult people, and a lot of Hasidic, but Orthodox Jews were volunteering to answer the phones. And they sued the Cult Awareness Network, and part of the settlement was to take over their offices and phones and everything. And they began answering the phone, Scientology, going, "Hello, Cult Awareness Network, how can we help you?"
Think of it's perfect, because you've heard of like cold leads and warm leads. Technically, would the Cult Awareness Network be a warm lead? People are already calling in about cults. Hey, you know what? Come on down. We'll take care of you and make sure that.
Yeah, I remember when it happened in the 80s in New York, because they were very good at putting out information about all different cults, the Cult Awareness Network. And they weren't just anti-Scientology at all. It was various cults. The Forum was one of them, and various groups had information and files on everyone. So they had such deep legal pocket, Scientology, that they easily won the lawsuit, Eric, and took over everything that Cult Awareness Network owned.
Wow. Yeah. Bad news all around there. Let me see. Let me make sure I have nothing. Oh, I've got Rumble rants in here.
Wow.
I know. I'm Scooter Pie said, and suddenly I'm seeing AI videos of Victor David Hansen all over YouTube saying nothing he has ever said.
That's
all
true.
while he's very ill.
Yeah. I'm telling you, there's something to this. It just reeks. It just reeks of some operation that's going on.
Kitty724, great show as usual. Love you guys, and sharing your shows to as many as you can. A happy new year to you both. Cheers to a wonderful new year for us all. And thank you for sharing. It really has been a struggle, not just for us, but a lot of YouTube channels. I'm seeing over and over and over how they're getting suppressed in the algorithm. I think I read off to you like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I sent you some stuff, and it was I literally asked the YouTube AI, and I was saying, okay, well, tell me how the channel's doing. And they're like, well, you're getting less views. I'm like, okay, is it because of are people clicking less? Are they watching less time? No, they're actually clicking a little more and watching a little longer, but we're showing it to fewer people.
The AI YouTube confessed to their crimes against humanity.
Yeah, essentially, and it's a circular pattern. I'm like, okay, this is very confusing. Let me see. Brooklyn 8787. Happy New Year's, boys. If day 2 of Rosie O'Donnell hunger strike.
That's funny. That's funny.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Brooklyn 8787 again. Carrie Lake loses more than the New York Jets.
That's funny too. I love that. It's a great line. I said the same thing about her. I mean, she's
starting to become Stacey Abrams of the right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
but she's brought on every news show. Well, she's got a government position now, so at Voice of America. So there is something there.
And it's perfect for her, actually. Former newscaster, good speaker.
Yeah.
Oh, same job as Tucker's dad.
She'd be a great press secretary, by the way. When she gets burned out, Levitt gets burned out. I would bring Carrie Lake out of the bullpen.
Well, Levitt's got a baby coming.
She may
too long,
at any
so
time.
It'll be a good time. Well, I think press
last more than a couple of years, Eric.
Yeah.
As you know, I mean,
that's one of the shortest jobs, I think, because there's so much stress on that.
Yeah, and Carrie Lake would be a good replacement. I'm putting that out there right now.
All right, Big Bill 767s. Great show, by the way.
Wow.
My dad played violin in the Felix the Cat Orchestra, making the cartoons back in the 30s and 40s.
I was telling Eric that 1916 was the birth of Felix the Cat right over here next to Walt Disney's house, where he had animation going on, drawing cells in his house near literally a few blocks from where I live. And then I was in Miami last week, and we saw Felix the Cat, an old mural on the side of a brick building that had been there, looks like the 1940s.
All right. Stephen Connolly gifted 5 America's Untold Stories memberships. Thank you very much. And let's see here. Dents Cracker with a super sticker.
Whoa.
Thank you. And we've got Dustin. What does Dustin have to say today? Who do you have to tackle? I think that's funny. He is a major fan, but I think Oasis triggered a movement this year back to rock and roll. It was incredible to see up close, a bunch of new music coming as well from others.
Yeah, there's some new music that's coming. So
the Oasis brothers getting back together was kind of a hell freezing over type of event.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about new music, new bands. That's the important thing.
That'll be good. All right, Pew Pew. Regular drugs, ADD/ADD. I've learned more from Mark than MSM. Oh, regarding drugs.
Regarding, yeah. Well, I've been doing it a long time, and Drew and I talk about it a lot, and we've worked together in the field. Let me just put it on. It's not just theoretical for me. It's hands-on, hands-on. It's a messy business, by the way.
It's a strange expertise.
Yes. I didn't set out to do this at the beginning, but that's the hand I was dealt.
Life chose you.
Life chose me.
All right. Max Redstone says, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, belated, and Happy New Year. Well, thank you very, very much.
This is obviously people know this is Sumner Redstone's grandson, Max Redstone.
Yeah.
One of the great Redstones.
Making some of that CBS money.
Yeah.
From selling.
Apparently, a lot of people aren't happy with Barry Weiss pulling the plug on 60 Minutes last week.
No, but that's good.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, it's egregious what they did. I had no idea the level of egregiousness that they had resorted to. The brazenness of it was almost an FU to their overlords. You know, like come and get us. We're going to keep doing even more brazen shit. We dare you to come and get us. We dare you, double dare you.
That's true. That's true. Now we're going to be heading over to locals now.
Holy crap. Are any of these people going to come with us?
I
Because
hope
we
so.
could talk dirty. We could say political stuff over there. It gets crazy. I mean, some people get naked. There's drinking, some debauchery. People are eating.
Let's not scare them off. I am not getting naked, guys.
No, I didn't
So
say
you
you
want
were,
to
but
see that? Okay,
There's
I was
people
gonna say.
eating unkosher foods. There's foul language, storytelling. The list could go on and on, but I don't want to let YouTube know that we're leaving them.
That is true. And on locals, you can always join for free as a member, and you can watch. This is going right now.
Whoa.
But you can also pay to support us. And
Whoa.
for
Whoa.
our locals supporters,
What is it? 500 a year?
no,
Oh, is it what is it?
$70 a year.
Wait a second. I thought it was $700 a year. You're telling me it's $70 a year? Is there a
$70
zero
a year.
missing here or something?
Nope. It's actually, if you broke it down, it's
My
just over
storage
$5 a month.
My storage facility cost me $700 a year. Now you're saying for 70 a month, I could get
No, 70 a year.
70 a year? Again, I'm completely baffled. You're saying you get the entire locals universe for $70 a year. A year. Let's be frank here. Are you making this up, or this is true?
It is true. And it's 70 a year. And not only are they going to be able to communicate, put up their own posts, communicate in the chat, they'll get to see the 5-part Oswald audio drama or listen to that. They can listen to the new LBJ. There's out of print books that are available with PDF. And as of 8 p.m. tonight, Eastern time, will be the JFK Lancer presentation.
Oh, finally.
We put on.
Right on.
So that is, again, for all paid supporters. You'll get to see the almost 2-hour-long presentation of assassination and Hollywood cinema.
A political assassination in Hollywood cinema, I think, was the official title of the show.
There you go. And it is about how assassination is represented in the movies versus the current times. And you may want to check that out. It goes
we
live.
have clips of the movies, which we can't do here.
Yes. There's clips of the movies.
That's why we did it.
And the presentations, it's primarily Mark and Robert Groden doing the presentation.
Now, can I watch this for free?
If you are a yearly supporter, everything is available for paid supporters on locals. But a lot is available for members who don't pay.
Oh, right. You can still look at stuff. Yeah.
But I just wanted to point that out because a lot of people, I think, are excited about that presentation.
Oh, I'm excited about it too.
And it's, we brought in our own cameras, our own microphones to try to, put it together nicely. So
I'll tell you something now. Our next audio drama presentation will be eventually on the RFK assassination, which is called RFK Must Die. That will be our next audio drama. If you sign up now for membership, you will eventually get that.
True. And before I go, there are a couple things snuck in. Daughter of the Sun with a Romo rant. Thanks for your informative and entertaining shows. Usually listening at work, but today I'm home.
Oh,
happy to have you. And glad you're home having a day off.
Wow.
And then we have Edward Laughlin, 9107 with $50. Thank you very, very much. Love you
it.
guys. Well, we love you. That's very generous of you. So
Really good.
thank you. And we have one more that snuck in by, I think it's Jay Siegel. Eric and Mark, what can be done about those rogue judges who are activists interrupting the POTUS decisions and actions?
Tie them up in impeachment. I mean, if you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. But tie them up.
Yeah, and the
What the hell's so
impeachment
difficult about
humiliates
this
them
thing?
at least.
Yeah, tie them up. Investigate their past. Smear them. Go in and find out stuff about them. Put it in the press. You need to have a Lee Atwater on the Trump side, someone who can do this stuff. You need a Roy Cohen. You need a Lee Atwater. Again, you need to mess up their rhythm. And just a sports analogy,
And
put
also
them back on their heels.
that, yes, and investigate their family ties.
Absolutely.
Investigate what their investments might be, what their family's investments are.
And leak the fuck out of it. Leak the fuck out of it.
And just scream it.
Well, we'll discuss some more over in locals because I have something to say over there when we get over there. This will be good.
All right. Well, we better head on that one.